views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
And hello, welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your host, Daren Jaime. Today we're going to update you on what's happening in and around our borough. Coming up on today's show, we'll update you on the latest in the world of politics. We'll discuss the Democratic Party and where do they go from here. Afterwards, we'll tell you about a school health program offering comprehensive medical, mental, and dental and community services for Bronxites. And then a little later on, we're going to tell you about the annual Latino Film and Arts Festival, a celebration of the contribution of Latinos in film and television. And then Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance is presenting its documentary, Puerto Rico, Hope in the Dark, the story of people of Puerto Rico and the faith, strength, and hope that helped sustain them in the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Maria. Stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. Hello, I'm your host, Daren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, September 19th, and you're watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We also want to welcome our viewers on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, better known as MNN, as Open is now being broadcast live simultaneously on MNN's channel. We also encourage you to stay connected to us. And how do you do that? Well, you can find out more about us at Twitter at BronxNet and Open on Facebook at BronxNet Television. Well, a lot has certainly been going on throughout the past week. We take you now to some Bronx updates. Well, Bronx riders along the number 1 line are bracing for an inconvenience. The stairs leading up to the Uptown number 1 train platform on West 238th Street and Broadway will be closed and remain so throughout the winter. Construction is being done replacing old stairways, new handrails, treads, and risers, along with the stair canopy, new gutters, drain pipes, and lighting. Former commuters who are hoping to grab a train from that part of town, it might mean a bit of a foot detour. Work on one of the Uptown staircases is already done. With downtown trains skipping West 238th Street, commuters will now have to find one of 2 alternative stations, either a few blocks north at West 242nd Street or by hopping on the bus, the BX9 to West 231st Street. One other news, on Sunday, September 30th, enjoy a celebration of unique Native cultures of the Americas at the Bronx Native American Festival. It's officiated by Master of Ceremonies, Bobby Gonzalez. You can enjoy music, the Silver Cloud Singers, arts and crafts, storytelling, food, dance, all of it's taking place in Pelham Bay Park. The event will be at the South Picnic area at Pelham Bay Park. It'll be held from 12 to 4. Now, if you're coming by train to get there, take the last stop on the number 6 train subway line, enter at the Bruckner Boulevard station and I should say Bruckner Boulevard and Wilkinson Avenue. Now, if you want more information, what do you do? Well, you can call 718-439-1891. And once again, the number is 718-430-1891. Well, from today to October 26th, come on out and get active in your neighborhood park. New Yorkers who are 60 years old and older are welcome to participate in free tennis lessons as well as some yoga and fitness walking, and it's taking place in 16 neighborhood parks across the city. Activities in the 6-week seniors fitness program take place twice a week, and all equipment is provided. The lessons will take place on Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to 11 a.m. at City Parks Foundation, located at Lafayette between Boynton and Colgate Avenues. Now, for more information, you can call 718-760-6999. Once again, that number is 718-760-6999. Well, that's all the time we have for Bronx Updates. We'll be back with more right after this.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke. I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words. Playing world music. What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
More at worldvision.org.
Okay, I believe we have our technical difficulties now fixed. We now welcome Michael Benjamin, Associate Editorial Page Editor of the New York Post. And Mike, good to have you.
Thank you, Darren. Glad to be on this morning.
Let me ask this question, Mike. For those people who looked at last week's Democratic results, when we talk about the results, the Democratic Party here in the state of New York, we saw a couple of upsets, particularly in the IDC. How much did you feel about the IDC and what that really played out in the minds of voters?
Well, I think what played out in the minds of voters was the year-long or more association with the IDC, with the Republican Senate majority or slim majority in Albany, and then you had the election of Donald Trump. And New York is a hotbed of anti-Trump activism. I think the IDC members, even though they were Democrats and hewed to many Democratic views, they still were somewhat aligned with Republicans up in Albany. And so once they had that taint of being aligned with Republicans, it sort of spelled their doom, despite their somewhat popularity over the last 10, 15 years with their voters. The insurgents who beat them, they did the old-fashioned way. They organized, and they brought new voters, their voters, to the polls. That's the only way to beat incumbents is to bring a new set of voters to the polls. And they worked with them over the past year or so, had their own money to spend, worked on social media and kept it up. And surprise, 6 out of the 8 IDC members and defeated them. And so you'll have fresh faces going to Albany. And, one great aspect is that many of them are women. And, I'd written a piece last year saying the Democratic Party in the Bronx missed an opportunity to support more women for city council slots. Well, now the Bronx is going to have a female addition to the congressional delegation. You'll have Alessandra Biaggi will be going to the state senate, another young woman. I think that's important for the party. It's important for women both in the Bronx and in New York City, and across the nation that women are running for office and voters are putting them in office when they have the right program.
Mike, how much do we attribute this to either A, low voter turnout, or B, just a simple upset?
Oh no, this had nothing to do with low voter turnout. As I said, the insurgents who won, they brought voters to the polls. And I know in the 34th Senate, the Klein Biaggi race, you had close to 25% turnout, which was almost double what it was the last time there was a primary, I believe in 2014, between Senator Klein and a challenger. At the time, I think it might have been Oliver Coppell. So turnout doubled in that district and all across the city and all across the state. Even in the gubernatorial race, we had a much higher turnout than 4 years ago when Governor Cuomo was challenged by Zephyr Teachout. So, voters were energized. I think a lot of it has to do with new energy coming from the election of Donald Trump to the presidency. People recognize that every vote counts, and now they're getting out there and making sure that their voices can be heard on a local level. And I think the results of last Thursday demonstrate that. I mean, 25% turnout is not great, but when you only had 10 to 12% turnout in the past, 25% is an earthquake.
Talk to me about the governor's race for a minute. Obviously, Governor Cuomo defeating Cynthia Nixon handily, but yet and still a lot of questions about whether or not she was actually able to bring the governor over to the other side a little bit more. Will we see Governor Cuomo move more to the other side, given the fact that Cynthia Nixon was able to get some traction and particularly able to get some of the issues that she wanted to have discussed?
No, I think by the other side you mean more left than center, correct?
Right.
All right, more progressive things. During the whole run-up to the race, every time Cynthia Nixon would say something about a progressive policy, suddenly the governor would be in agreement. Yesterday, I believe it was Monday in the Bronx, the kickoff of the statewide tour on marijuana reform was held. And because of Cynthia Nixon's pushing the issue during her run for governor, Cuomo decided that maybe he'll take a closer look at legalizing instituting some marijuana reforms. You have a number of other things that she had talked about that he began moving left to because he understood where the winds are blowing. And as a seasoned politician and a survivalist, the governor wants to survive politically. Many of us believe he wants to run for president. And he began to tack to the left more progressive issues, more progressive things, beyond protecting abortion, beyond gay marriage, other kinds of issues that are important to constituents at this time. And I think part of it was part of his victory, and part of the other fact was that Ms. Nixon really wasn't experienced enough, I think, in many voters' minds to be the next governor of New York, despite her good positions in their view on many important progressive issues, whether it's single-payer health, it's marijuana reform, reforming cash bail, those things that are important to many people these days.
Yeah, very important topics of discussion, particularly here for New Yorkers and in the borough of the Bronx. Let me take a quick run right quick. I only have less than a minute left, but I want to take a run down to Washington right quick. Talk to me about the Kavanaugh nomination. Obviously, the testimony, his alleged accuser will also have the ability to testify. Does Kavanaugh still have enough steam to be confirmed?
From what I'm hearing among the Republicans, he seems to have. I think they're going to make it a straight party line vote unless there's absolute evidence that what he's accused of actually did happen and resulted in harm to Miss Ford, to Professor Ford. It's the fact that it came out so late. It raises suspicions in the minds of Republicans that it was a political hit, a last-minute Hail Mary to try to derail his nomination. And then you have those who are thinking about, 35 years ago, they're both teenagers. How good are their memories? And it's to me, it's a no-win situation. But the president, I think, is intent on having Kavanaugh as his judicial nominee. And the Republicans, I think, don't want to cave to the Democrats unless there's some sort of smoking gun that shows that Mr. Kavanaugh did commit a violent act against Professor Ford and that her memory is absolutely, spot on. I would not want to be in their shoes come Monday. The FBI is in a tough spot, having to try to investigate something that's occurred 35 years ago among teenagers who were at a party, who may have been drinking, and whose memories, may have faded over time. So it's a very tough spot to be in.
Yeah, true indeed. Mike Benjamin, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us here on Open, giving us a little bit about the state of politics here in New York, and of course, with the Kavanaugh nomination. Mike, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Daren.
All righty, taking a quick break. We've got more show. We want you to stay with us. We'll return right after this.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count, because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
And welcome back. Montefiore School Health Program consists of 27 school-based health centers located in elementary, middle, and high schools throughout the borough of the Bronx. Serving about 40,000 students in 92 schools, it's the largest hospital-sponsored program in the country. Here to tell us a little bit more about it, we welcome now Dr. Delaney Gracy, Director of Clinical Services at Montefiore School's Health Program, and we welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good to have you. So when we talk about being the largest, first of all, that's a great number to have, the largest in the country.
Thank you, and we're growing as well.
Wow. Talk to us about the state of the Bronx, because we know the Bronx really has some challenges. Number 62 out of all counties when it comes to obesity and, things of that nature. How are you helping to tackle this?
Well, one of the things is the model itself with having a clinic for students within their school. Mm-hmm. So we don't just do Band-Aids and ice packs. We do full-on medical care like you'd get in a primary clinic. So we do vaccines, we do physicals, we do chronic care management for things like asthma and for things like obesity. And that can make a real difference when you have working parents. Taking off work to go to the doctor is hard, taking off school to go to the doctor is hard, and this is one more way we can help kids get care and families to get what they need.
So walk me through the possibility of services. So a person walks in, what are they in for?
So again, it's just like a clinic that they would go to in their community, and we're part of Montefiore and the system of community clinics that we have. We're in the schools specifically to serve the students, and so when they come in, we can do a physical. We'll check and see if they're up to date on their vaccines. We can check vision, hearing, all those things that are also really important for them to be able to learn at school and stay in class more. And we see a lot of kids with asthma. We do a lot of reproductive health in the high schools, and the goal is keep kids safe safe, healthy in school so they can pay attention and they can do well in school.
How much of a difference maker is it having that right there in the school system?
I think it makes a big difference because we have an integrated model where we also offer dental services, mental health. We have a lot of community programs, so we do a lot of work in the classrooms and school-wide. And so I think it makes kids able to take a little more control of their health and take a little more initiative in being healthy. And it also, if you can go down to the clinic for 30 minutes versus have to take off half a day to get care, then for a lot of kids, that makes them more likely to get it.
Right. Talk to me a little bit about response from parents and teachers being able to have, these services right there at their disposal.
Sure. Well, again, with the schools also, their goal is to keep those kids in class and to have those kids healthy. And so being able to have the other services like mental health support and the health education, community education support even adds that extra layer on to the traditionally medical part. And we, talk on the phone to parents all the time. When we see the little kids, we always try to get their parent on the phone while we're seeing the kid. We send home a lot of letters and try to really make sure those communication lines are open, as well as if they have a doctor in the community, really working with that doctor too, to, collectively in partnership, provide really good care.
Right, and social workers are a part of this as well.
Right, social workers, psychologists, we have different outreach workers, we have what we call community health workers that do a lot of programs and even have programs for families that, help with cooking and eating healthy and being fit.
So for people who want to find out more information about this, what do they do?
So they can look at the Montefiore website or the Montefiore School Health website, or they can also, give us a call at School Health. And we have a list of the schools where we are. And so we have the 27 now, but over the next 2 years, we'll be adding another 10 to 15 clinics as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome to be in so many places and to be able to meet the needs of kids. The turnaround in terms of, as you said, keeping kids safe in school, being able to have a healthy learning environment. What are you hearing? What's the feedback to that?
To the school environment
Well,
right now?
Well, basically, yeah. Now that you're able to keep kids in, a classroom, they can go to class, they can stay there, right there at school. It's got to be a positive feedback in terms of...
Absolutely. And the parents, they appreciate it very much. I was on the phone with a mom the other night doing, going through the questions to be able to do the physical for her kid. And that allowed her to not have to miss work to do that. But we could still get her child the care and the forms so that they could do the after-school program. And so it really, these are the pieces you need as a parent to hold your life together. Right. And sometimes help and access are not so easy to get.
I think you spoke to two of the big things, because parents worry about the physical, right? And then, if you want to do an after-school program or sports, sometimes getting to that doctor really becomes a challenge.
Absolutely. And, when kids have chronic health problems like asthma, some families, it's a struggle even to go to the emergency room when you really need it. But we all know we can give better care if we're seeing those kids regularly and really managing that medication day to day. That way, if they can come to us, we can do that. And similarly with things like physicals, some parents have to choose not to do that because it's hard to take off work. When we can do it for the kid in school, we can find out if they have a vision problem that may be actually impacting how well they can do in class. And so it gives us that connection point, and then to also work very closely with the schools in partnership.
Tremendous win-win. Now, it's the largest hospital-sponsored program in the country, and as you said, you're growing.
We are.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Our pleasure. Thanks for bringing the health of kids to the conversation.
No, we love that. Dr. Delaney Gracy, she is the Director of Clinical Services at the Montefiore School Health Program. We thank her for joining us, and we thank you for joining us. No, we're not out of show. We got more show coming up. Stay with us. We got more right after this.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family. The first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
And we are back here on Open. The 4th annual official Latino Film and Arts Festival is taking place between September 24th and September 27th. And filmmaker Danny Hastings, well, he created the festival back in 2015 in response to the lack of Latino representation in Hollywood films and TV shows. He's now here with us in studio, and we welcome Danny Hastings, the director of the official Latino Film and Arts Festival, with the special emphasis on official. Good to have you.
Thank you, Daren. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Super excited.
Yes. So tell me, this has been going on for a few years, and what makes this so special to you?
Well, what makes this special to me is that we are predominantly focusing on what American Latinos are producing. So in reality, we are a domestic film festival. We don't focus too much on international. We do have a small international participation, but we're interested in what the filmmaker from the Bronx is doing, a filmmaker from Tucson, Arizona is doing, a filmmaker from East LA is doing. So we're really focusing on a national platform for the young American Latino filmmaker, which sets us different from like a lot of the Latino film festivals that are going around.
I want to tell our viewers now the dates are from October the 11th through the 14th. You can come on and check it out. And for people who are there, what do they have the ability to see?
Well, I want to clarify that we're a bi-coastal film festival. So in New York City, we have the preliminaries in New York City from September 24th to September 27 right now, which is next week.
Right.
Then we travel to Coachella, California, and we have a national platform from October 11 to October 14. And basically what we do is we open the Hispanic Heritage Month, right, with New York City, and we close Hispanic Heritage Month with Coachella, California.
So what are people going to see?
Oh man, people are going to see about 150 films, written, directed, and produced, and short films, right? Written, directed, and produced mostly by American Latinos, you know, from the U.S., and we have like about a 10% international short films being screened as well.
We talked about underrepresentation when it comes to being in film, television. When you watch, you know, mainstream media, you'll see that, and unfortunately, to get a larger light, you have to have, you know, the film festival and other ways to get seen. Talk to us about the progress that's been made, because obviously a lot of progress has been made.
Yeah, Daren, when I created it, I was actually watching the Oscars. This was before the hashtag Oscars So White phenomenon, right? That happened, right? I was watching and I was like, where are we? How come we're not here, right? And there's some crazy stats going on right now, and out of last year, out of all the movies that were produced by Hollywood, only 2% had Latino leads. And out of that 2% of Latino leads, the majority were stereotypes. So what's happening is, like, you know, writers that are basically writing these Hollywood movies don't see us as other type of characters. Right. So what I say to myself, I need to go back into the community and make sure I support the emerging filmmaker, because we do write what we know. So we write our stories not really thinking Latino, but thinking family member, executive, politician, nurse, medical doctor. You know what I mean? Like, we don't think like Latino first. We think character first. It just so happens that we're Latino. So there's a big difference on the way you're going to see our content.
I talk to a lot of friends who are in the business, and they're out there. They say one of the biggest challenges is it's not just necessarily having people in front of the screen, but having those writers that are actually able to tell the story.
Exactly, and that's why one of the criteria for our film festival is very important. One of the criteria is either the writer, the director, or the producer has to be Latino, right? One of them, which, you know, we can collaborate with many different people,
right?
And one lead has to be Latino, right? Latino, Latina, Latinx, right? And that's very important to me, because only us are gonna be able to represent us the right way, right? When you write something, you're gonna see in here movies from like different type of characters, different, like the whole spectrum.
Right.
You know, we have clowns, we have scientists, we have a movie in space. You know what I mean? We open up the festival with a very important block called Las Jefas block. Films written, directed, and produced by women. That's how we kick off the festival. So it's a very inclusive festival. Please, I need you guys to come and support and spread the word and come and really, you're gonna see yourself for the first time in the big screen. So
before we get out of here, tell people once again how to come, how to check you out, how to support.
Very easy. Go to officiallatino.com, and in there you're going to see the entire platform. You're going to be able to buy tickets, see link to all the movies, and come and share. And our platform is Official Latino all across the board at Official Latino.
Danny Hastings.
Thank you, Daren.
Good to have you, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to have you. All right, Danny Hastings, who's the director of the official Latino Short Film Festival. Taking a quick break. We've got more show coming up. Stay with us. Coming back in a few. Well, thank you for staying with us. Puerto Rico, Hope in the Dark. It's the story of the people of Puerto Rico and the faith, strength, and hope that sustained them in the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Maria. It's the most recent production by students in the Media, Communications, and Visual Arts Department at Pace University. Let's take a look at a preview.
This is the longest blackout in American history. It's immoral what had been happening in Puerto Rico. We're talking about 3.3 million Puerto Ricans that have not received the help and the assistance that they deserve.
Es una cosa horrible, horrible. Es un monstruo. Ella hacía como un monstruo.
Mi nieta mayor me preguntó que cómo se oía eso y yo, como ella vivió allá afuera, pues yo le dije, vas a oírlo como si fuera quizá un tren, pero 100 veces amplificado. Pero fue peor. Ya a las 5 de la mañana yo no le voy a negar que yo le pedí a Dios que nos pusiera a dormir.
Pedíamos a Dios que nos ayudara y tratamos de mantener la calma.
María, esto fue un infierno.
Powerlessness. Think about that word for a second. Powerlessness. This is what Puerto Rico has faced for centuries. Powerlessness.
Now, you saw just a glimpse there, but here to tell us a little bit more about it, we welcome now Joanna Castro, Executive Director of the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance, and Charlie Vazquez, who is the Arts and Culture Consultant. And welcome.
Thank you, Daren.
Thank you, Daren.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And sorry under these circumstances, because when we talk about Puerto Rico, obviously, even to this day, the conversations are still being had, one about the death toll, two about the fact of the supplies and the whole response by our administration to that. But you guys put it in film form. Give us a little bit about, in a longer sense, about what we're going to see come with this movie.
Sure. So I'll give you a little bit of background information. Our parent organization is the Hispanic Federation. I was at a meeting, and one of the people at the meeting said, oh, we were involved with this documentary. I saw it, I cried, and I was just like, wow, we need to show it. So what better time to bring awareness of the 1-year anniversary with this screening, and the fact that it was done by students, and literally their spring break. So the power of energy, of youth wanting to transmit and wanting to tell a story of what happened. So then I started finding connections with the Uptown community, and we partnered with the Sugar Hill Children's Museum of Art and Storytelling, and they coincidentally have an exhibit that is closing on September 23rd called Relational Undercurrents. And it's an exhibit showcasing Caribbean artists and, of course, Puerto Rican artists. So then I reached out to friend and colleague Charlie Vazquez about moderating a panel and who we wanted to bring to the table to talk about solidarity and awareness.
Yeah, and what we found was that various individuals and organizations were, sort of scrambling to do what they could to raise money, to raise support for the island. So Joanna didn't know at the time, but I was involved in the Reconstruction graphic novel anthology, which was organized by the artist Edgardo Miranda Rodriguez, who created La Borinqueña, and she's kind of like the Puerto Rican Wonder Woman. So that's a real big hit. She's a real big hit right now in the graphic novel community. And that anthology has raised over $150,000. Our colleague Arnaldo Lopez from Pregones Puerto Rican Traveling Theater, they distributed over, I think, about $100,000 or more in micro grants to arts organizations on the island. So we found sort of this thread of arts-related activism as well as a faith organization, the For
Tryon Park, For Tryon Collegiate Church.
Yes. Who they went down and they planted organic seeds and they helped with repairs to structures and stuff like that. So we wanted to bring all these people together to talk about the creative ways that they sort of mobilize community to raise funds to support Puerto Rico.
What do you want people to take away from the screening and the conversation?
Bring awareness. Think about our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico. And think about what we can do to help. So, for example, the church had a fundraiser through yoga classes. So there are little and big things we can do. I also wanted to mention that there's a nice Bronx connection. Arnaldo Lopez is the managing, as Charlie mentioned, the managing director of Pregones, which is based in the Bronx. And Gabriel Rivera, who is our other panelist, is from the Bronx. And he's a student. So really, it's not something that there's a disconnect. We are all connected.
So if people want to know date, time, and where, take it away and let us know.
The Sugar Hill Children's Museum, the screening will be at 2 p.m. That's this Sunday, September 23rd. I don't have the address with me.
It is, do I have it here? No, I don't have it.
You.
Yeah.
Oh, I do, 898. 898. We're all trying to figure out. The address is right here, by the way. It's 898 St. Nicholas Avenue and 155th Street. And the reason I should really be shy for this one is because it's right down the block from where I grew up.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I just couldn't get the number right, but forgive me. Yes. So 898 St. Nicholas Avenue, 155th Street. Please come on out and check it out. 2 p.m. is going to be the screening. 3 p.m. is going to be the panel discussion, right? You're moderating panel discussion?
I'll be moderating the discussion, yes.
Good. Joanna, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much and best wishes.
you.
I mean, it's something we need to talk about, and it's hard to think that, people think that Puerto Rico is this little faraway place, but this is right here in the United States of America. Thanks for doing
Thanks,
this.
Daren.
Thank you.
Thank you. Taking a quick break. We got more open. Stay with us. Come right back right after this. And thank you for staying with us. Our host, Bobby C., sat down with film producer Ray Negron, talking about an exciting new show entitled Batboy, A Yankee Miracle. We want to share with you the story right now.
I'm Bobby C. Today we have a special treat in studio. Joining us on the show is best-selling author, New York Yankee executive producer, and inspirational speaker Ray Negron, producer Steve Vaccaro, Field of Hope's founder Esperanza Ramirez, and president of the Grand Slam Foundation, Belkis Laura. Our lineup is here to tell us about an exciting show, Batboy, a Yankee Miracle. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's good to be here.
Ray, we go so back. I mean, I remember the first time that we did a great package on BronxNet so long ago that it's on VHS tape. I don't even think we have the footage anymore. You took me behind the scenes at the old Yankee Stadium to sit in a chair that the great Lou Gehrig once sat in a place in the bowels of old Yankee Stadium where the Iron Horse would kind of get ready for games.
Right.
Do you remember that? It's a long time ago now.
Yeah, no, listen, it wasn't that long ago. I'm not
It's
that
long.
old.
It's long ago.
But yeah, I do remember it was something that's very close to my heart. For me, that was the real stadium, the old stadium. The spirits are still there, and I go there to meditate all the time, you know. So thank you for bringing that up. It's something that I'll never forget.
Now, guys, you have a great project here, and again, Ray, I think your story kind of lends to the project that you're working on now. I think a lot of people may not be aware of how you got to where you are now with the Yankees. Tell us a little bit about being a teenager and running into George Steinbrenner.
For the 10,000th time, 1973, I'm outside Yankee Stadium doing graffiti with a couple of people. All of a sudden, a car pulls up to the sidewalk. Everybody starts to run. I trip. The man grabs me. They take me to the holding cell. Next thing you know, the man says, you know what, give me the kit. They take me to the Yankee locker room. They get me a uniform, and that night I was a bat boy for the New York Yankees because the man felt that I could pay off the damages quicker that way, and that man was the great George Steinbrenner.
So now, Ray, you're bat boy for that Bronx Zoo team that wins in 77, 78. Steve, how did you get a chance to meet Ray and work on a project like this?
Yeah, I'm actually a psychologist by trade, so I do a lot of community work on Long Island. And one day, a couple years back, I had a class of 16 kids from a detention center, actually, and our business tour got canceled. So I had to scramble around, and a local college there was having Ray present his book, Yankee Miracles. So I thought, I didn't know Ray at the time. I knew the story as a Yankee fan. So I decided to see if I could take my kids there. I talked to his people, but I went right to Ray, and he said, sure, bring him on. So that day on, we become friends. We do radio shows together. We do different things. But you actually change the lives of those 16 kids right then and there. So, and then I got to learn about everything that Ray has done behind the scenes, and you know, also in the Yankee world too.
You know, you guys are bringing together a lot of special people. I know Ray is going to brag about his acting talents, but he's not the only big name in this show. You got Mickey Rivers, of course, you know, a Yankee legend, I would say, especially from those World Series teams. What's it like to bring all these great people together for a project like this?
Yes, well, on June 24th, we sold out at the Argyle Theater in Babylon. We had Karen Sheehan, who was the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, who was a main actor and performer for many, many years.
Played Bobby Mercer.
Played Bobby Mercer, and we were blessed to have him there. We had Joey Gion, who is from Knots Landing and has known Ray for a long time. He came on board from Los Angeles.
Played Thurman Munson.
Played Thurman Munson. So we had a lot of local talent. We had kids from high school. So Ray has that ability to bring young people and professionals all together under one stage and one roof. And
nobody got paid.
No one got paid, and we, you know, Mickey Rivers was great. I mean, he was in this dance scene that I think we're going to do again, that you can't miss that.
Now, Ray, you're no stranger when it comes to films. You've done 9 films, correct?
Correct.
So for you, this is just kind of become second nature.
Not really, because the first time that I've been doing stage, I always wanted to do it. It is a lot harder than doing films, because in films, I can do 15 takes. There ain't no 15 takes here, so you know, if I mess up, I gotta make believe like I didn't mess up. One time I fell down and I made believe like it was a part of the show. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I won't fall down in the Bronx.
All right.
You and I always talk about the impact and being able to kind of help youth. Again, George Steinbrenner gave you a lift as a teenager, put you in a prominent spot to now become who you've become today. What's it like to give back to so many different programs? We'll get a chance to talk to 2 young ladies that are kind of beneficiaries of this project, but what's it like to kind of give back to the Bronx in that way?
Well, initially it was about doing it out in Long Island because it was far enough from Broadway that if I messed up, you know, Chaz Palminteri is a big influence for me, big inspiration and a very close friend. And he's the one that said, Ray, you're getting too old. You better do that play now while you get a chance. And he was right. And after the show, he said he couldn't come that day because he was doing his own show, A Bronx Tale, in Broadway. So after the show, he called me. He said, how did it go? And I said, I messed up a couple of times. Beautiful. The big question, did the people like it? I said, the people loved it. Ray, then now it can only get better. And I wanted to get that better in the Bronx. I wanted to bring that magic to the Bronx, because this is my home, and these are my people. And we had a lot of killings, a lot of murders, a lot of stuff like that with kids who, had they been playing baseball, that would not have happened. One family I went to their funeral. The mother said, I didn't have the $100 to put in the baseball program this year. My son is gone because of it, because he joined that gang, you know. And this is why this show is so important to everybody.
Steve, coming up on October 19th at Hostos, tell us a little bit about the event. And you also have a big event coming up at Foley's in mid-October as well.
Yes, well, on this particular show and the other shows too, on Long Island at the Tillis Center and back at the Argyle, we have Richie Canada, who's going to be in it from Billy Joel's band. We have Dave Revels, who's one of the former singers of the Drifters. We have Robbie Rosen from American Idol, who is in season 10 with the top 16. And we have an unknown Layla Dion, who's going to really knock the socks off of so many people.
I mean it, as good as Whitney Houston.
Right. So the event, though, in the Bronx is the bread and butter one. That's the one that we're going to give back on October 19th at Hostos Community College. They've been awesome to work with, and the agencies that you're going to meet shortly are wonderful. And what they're doing is getting those community together and the kids together to play baseball. And Ray's giving them an opportunity for that to happen, because, as you said before, a lot of kids in the Bronx and everywhere don't have that money to play organized baseball, and they make poor choices and, you know, join gangs and things like that. So Ray's efforts with this play is so needed. So if the people could turn out to see this show, but also to give back to their communities.
But it's
so
our efforts.
Right.
Our efforts.
Steve, great to have you on the show. We're actually going to take a time out and come back with Esperanza and Belkis to talk a little bit more about benefiting from a project like this.
And they're beautiful looking women, unbelievable.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke. I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
Hi, I'm David Lesh, legal correspondent to the morning show Open. If you have a legal question that you'd like me to answer, please send me an email at davidlesh@bronxnet.org, and I will address it on our Ask Your Lawyer segment.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Welcome back. We're talking Batboy, a Yankee Miracle, and Ray is in all his glory right now because he's got Belkis on his right, Esperanza on his left. And we're talking for, really a great project, and thank you both for coming on and joining us as well. Esperanza, we'll start with you. Talk a little bit about Field of Hopes and being able to be part of this project too. We had Steve on to talk a little bit about it, but you guys are benefiting greatly from it.
Thank you for having us. My organization, it's been functioning for the last 15 years, and it benefits East Harlem, West Harlem, and the Bronx and after-school programming, and a program in the Dominican Republic.
So how long have you known Ray?
We've been friends for over 10 years,
Okay.
and I have to say, he always been there for the community. Even the first time I met him without him knowing me, he gave me his card, and I told him, well, I have a program in East Harlem that holds over 1,000 kids. And I remember back then we needed a donation to fund for the uniforms of the kids, and he came through without knowing me. Within 5 days, he was there. I couldn't believe that, that happens. He didn't even know me, and he's always there for the kids. So I'm so honored to be part of this project right now.
Only because she's good looking.
Ray, I think you're a good guy more than people probably know, I guess, right?
I don't know.
So, Belkis, you have the largest youth baseball organization in the Bronx, and again, this program benefiting as well from this play. Talk a little bit about your perspective.
Yes, actually, thanks for having us here, and I really had to thank Ray for the opportunity he giving our organization. Yeah, I'm proud to say we are one of the largest organizations right now here in the Bronx. We have indoor batting cages, and we have little league teams, and we do a lot of program, everything with baseball fundamentals, but we do a lot of things for the kids.
Perfect.
And let me just add that with Belkis, she was a big inspiration from the standpoint that like I told you before, a lot of kids in the Bronx can't afford to join programs, and later on I would find out that like literally a quarter of the kids that are in her organization don't pay. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't afford to, so she would take them anyway. And the same thing has happened with stuff that this young lady has done forever, and this is why I wanted the two of them, two beautiful, proud women who in essence understand the concept of our kids, that our kids are our future. And I am so proud of both of you, seriously, and that's the one thing.
Ray, that's something that you and I have spoken about many times too. So many of the kids in the Bronx sometimes get lost in the shuffle and maybe in a depressed area, and money is an issue for their families. And this has really been a big part of the concentration in what you're looking to accomplish with reaching out and having these community efforts. For you personally, why did you seek out these two programs?
Just because of the fact that they help so many with literally nothing. You know what I'm saying? And the kids that are there, how they love these women and just appreciate
maternal figures.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I've been with people who don't appreciate. You know, they're given and they expect, they're entitled. And well, in this world, nobody is entitled. Somebody once said to me at Yankee Stadium, you know, Ray, I don't like you because you think you're entitled. And I knew in my heart and soul that that was more jealousy than anything else, because I've never been entitled. I could show you my bank statements to tell you I haven't been entitled. And George Steinbrenner, if he doesn't help me, where would I be?
Of course.
Okay,
pay it
I'm
forward.
I'm the product of, I lost a dear friend murdered. I lost a cousin murdered in front of me. So no, walk my shoes, walk their shoes, and then understand why we need to do Batboy.
You know, something that we always talk about here at BronxNet is that same thing, being a non-for-profit and finding ways to connect people with having a platform. And you guys have been able now to basically do the same thing, whether it's bringing communities together on projects of creativity and also having a voice. And that's something that we talk about here at BronxNet all the time. For you, what has been the best part, Belkis, of basically seeing the reaction from the kids? Because I think that's the part that's probably got to be the biggest motivation, correct?
Of course, yes, definitely. I'm proud to say that, you know, when I started this organization, I was a single mother with 3 kids. And I started, you know, bringing my kids to baseball teams. And, but for me, seeing that all those kids that I started coaching, you know, when they were 7 years old, 6 years old, and seeing now that they're in college and that they call me from college and telling me, you know, thanks to you, or if they see anything, they call me and they tell me, listen, I know this is something that you could do also for all the kids. That's something that really made me so proud. We have so many kids that have been through our program that they're in college right now. And not only that, to see the reaction from them and the appreciation when they call me back and saying thanks because your program, we here to this point. And they call me, and a lot of them you see it on the street, and they call me aunt, or they call me, any sweet name, but that's something that really made me proud. And when Ray decided to choose Esperanza and to choose me for this project, I was surprised that, because we have it in our blood. It's something that we started. I think Esperanza and me is the same thing. We started with our kids. So it's not only that we do it because we do it, or because we do it as a business. We do it because this is our passion, because we know the kids in our community need it.
Esperanza, final thoughts on Batboy and why people should come and watch it.
People should come and watch it because this is a way of saving lives. This is a way of taking kids out of the street, especially with after-school program. A lot of people doesn't realize that we don't have that many after-school programming, and there's also a lot of qualification. Our program takes any child, whether it has money, whether it doesn't have a glove. Well, look at, so a lot of the programs, they don't have the money or the capacity to go to the programs. This is an amazing project because it also inspired other people to help. And also, we're not a big company. So what happens to me is the same thing that Belki does. How I feel proud when I see my kids graduate, when I see them, then also they're doing community, because in school we don't teach empathy anymore. I mean, we don't teach empathy. So to have kids that when they grow up, they want to do for the community because they feel inspired because of what to do, it's amazing to me, because I want educated kids, of course, but I also want people that have heart and that cares about others, and that's what our program teaches, to help others.
Ray, we're out of time, but again, let everyone know where they can
Batboy. Ostos
October 19th.
Community College
Ostos.
on the 19th. Batboy, Batboy, Batboy. Belkis and Esperanza will be there too.
The multi-talented Ray Negron. Thanks for tuning in. That's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for coming on.
And certainly want to thank Bobby C. for that great interview. Listen, we've come to the end of our show today, and I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us. Most of all, you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the Recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum's Channel 67, Verizon Fios, Channel 33, or watch us anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. For all of us here on the set of Open, I want to say thank you for watching. Be sure to keep this channel wide open. Daren Jaime saying take care and God bless.